The Dodgers trying not to get giddy over Shohei Ohtani's pitching sesh. The Lakers this year, they wonder about LeBron James. Next offseason, it might be even bigger with Austin Reaves. And there's more than one reason that the USC Notre Dame rivalry drama is going to live on. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is May 26, 2025. By the time you see this clip, I'm going to be at the airport heading home to see the wife. Can't wait. But in the meantime, we're going to start the week off right by talking about the glory of LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we're dropping new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a quick look at the scoreboard. Mets 3, Dodgers 1. Ick. At least the Dodgers are still in first place. Meanwhile, the Sparks knocked out Chicago 91-78. And today, the Dodgers are at Cleveland at 3 o'clock. So what do you say we get to the news? It's getting to the point. How many ways can we describe Shohei Ohtani in ways that don't magnify him without making him sound like a god? I'm not going to make that man a deity. I do go to church, but Sunday, after church, the dude threw batting practice. The first time he threw against live hitters since his second Tommy John surgery in 2023. And what'd he do? Well, he only hit 97 miles per hour in 22 pitches. And oh, by the way, when he was done flaming guys, he went into the actual game and homered in his first at-bat. And how did your Sunday go, right? Flaming guys and hitting baseballs 411 feet. Ho-hum. Now, back to the session, because we already knew the dude could hit. Ohtani pitched 5 simulated at-bats, whatever the hell that means. He only allowed 1 hit, which was a double to Ha-Seong Kim. The 97-mile-an-hour pitches were harder than what Ohtani actually wanted to throw. He credited that to the adrenaline. He knew what was up. But speaking of adrenaline, I don't want to overstate this. The idea of Ohtani's comeback, it's still going to be after the All-Star break. But Dave Roberts told the LA Times, quote, "If it kind of works out as it should, he's a top-end starter. That's kind of all of our expectations," unquote. Which I would say, way to keep your cool, Skip. Considering the Dodgers have 7 starting pitchers not named Ohtani currently on the injured list, I'm kind of amazed that you didn't ugly cry, tears of joy like my wife at a Lana Del Rey concert. But the Dodgers have to be patient with scheduling Ohtani's comeback. Consider, it takes about 6 weeks for a pitcher to go from playing catch, long throws, bullpen sessions, rehab starts, and then back to the majors. A 6-week process. But this is not a normal 6-week process. Because, for example, he can't do rehab starts. Do you think they're going to send a guy who regularly hits 50 bombs a year to the minors? Hell no, they're not going to do that. And by the way, as we all know, LA dropped $700 million on the guy. They're going to take their time to make sure he's gotten himself right before they put him on a mound. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that the Dodgers' pitching issues have been solved. Far from it. Bobby Miller yesterday lowered his ERA to 12.6 and was summarily sent back to the Midwest manure pit of AAA. Chris Stratton was signed off of the bargain bin. The dude last pitched in Kansas City. But much like Miller, it's hard to see Stratton as a solution. It's pretty much he is an answer to, is his arm attached to his torso? It is? Get him a contract. Stratton has pitched for 9 baseball teams. His ERA with the Royals last year, or this year, 7.94. So yeah, let's not get too excited. I mean, if your ERA is 12.6 and it's this much of a problem, an ERA of 7.9 is this much of a problem. So let's not break out the party hats. And by the way, speaking of non-solutions, the Dodgers clipped reliever J.P. Fireeisen, previously cut by Arizona this year. Fireeisen appeared in 2 games for LA and allowed 4 runs in 2 innings. Yeah, his ERA was 18. So, Dodgers finding solutions? Oh no, that is far from over. Let me know, of course, what you think in the comments thread. Meanwhile, the Belcher report is claiming Austin Reaves will decline his player option and enter unrestricted free agency for next summer. The report also claims that he wants $30 million a year in his next contract. Now, the Scribe also has 0 sources to back this up, so there's that. I mean, this is just all speculation. Don't get me wrong, it is possible. Apparently, the most Reaves can extend for, should he decide to stay with the Lakers, is $19 million. So I hear you. But you actually have to have a source, either who knows Reaves or in the Lakers organization, in order for me to buy in this story. Besides, what's crystal clear is that Reaves, yes, he has developed into the Lakers' 3rd offensive option. I don't deny that. But I would also suggest if he pulls that move, maybe the Lakers let him go. The potential free agent class going into that offseason, loaded. Absolutely loaded. But that's at least a year away to even consider. We've been chatting a lot recently about whether the battle for the jeweled shillelagh, i.e. the USC Notre Dame football game, will end after this season. And we're not going to get an answer anytime soon, guys. We're going to talk about how USC and Notre Dame are still negotiating. We don't know. And the reason we don't know is that USC has a reason to wait that hasn't been clarified. All this time, we've been talking about how USC wants to even out their schedule, right? If you have Notre Dame toward the end of the year, like it always has been, and the Big Ten decide to schedule 2 road trip games around it, USC could be making 3 cross-continental flights on 3 consecutive weeks. Even the NFL doesn't do that. I mean, sometimes when a team will make a transcontinental flight, they'll stay on the opposite coast for an entire week. USC's not going to do that. These players still have classes to attend. So there's that. But here's the point where the Trojans are going to have to wait. The Big Ten and the SEC want the college football playoffs to expand to 16 teams. Now, why would they want to do that? Glad you asked. According to The Athletic, leaders for both the Big Ten and SEC hatched a plan. They originally wanted it to expand to 14 teams. That plan came about in February. Then it grew to 16. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, my, what a lovely name. Tony Petitti is the mastermind. He's a former TV executive, and he's fantasizing about this big bag of money by making the tournament larger. But if that hatches, the point comes, how many Big Ten teams get an automatic bid? Petitti is shooting for 4. Now here's the deal. If it's only 3 teams, then USC is going to take a hardline stance against Notre Dame about where the scheduling goes. If it's 4 teams, then maybe the USC athletic department doesn't have to go as hardcore. Because theoretically, even if it is multiple road trips to the East Coast, they could say, well, we could afford to lose a game and still get into the tournament. But if you've been sitting there saying, why aren't we hearing about anything advancing in terms of the negotiations to keep that rivalry game alive? Why is USC non-committal? That's it. They want to see if the field is going to expand and even further enrich the Big Ten. Are you a Rams fan like me? If you've been reading about how much the Rams and Kyron Williams, how they want to secure a long-term deal, and then you're scratching your head wondering why the hell it hasn't happened yet, part of the reason could be in a clip of Sean McVay and Les Snead that was taken during the draft. Here's a scenario with the camera rolling on the guys. It's day 3 of the draft, 4th round. Jaquez Hunter of Auburn on the board. Snead says, favorite running back. McVay adds, that's who I want. The Rams traded up 10 slots to get the guy, who scored 9 touchdowns and rushed for 1,356 yards last year. Now, none of this is to suggest that Kyron Williams sucks or that he doesn't deserve a bag. This is to suggest that the Rams' running back room is deep as hell. Remember, they added Blake Corum in a draft last year. The idea being that if Kyron Williams gets injured, and remember, Kyron Williams was injured for about 4 or 5 games a year prior, you would sub in Blake Corum, who would be a similar back to Williams. But now you have Corum and Williams, and they're the same type of back. But Hunter is considered a big play threat. So, how many running backs can you afford to keep? Forward Rakea Jackson has missed the last 3 Sparks games. She's in concussion protocol with no timeline for her return because, after all, you can't rehab your head. Results are what they are, though, and it's clear that the Sparks need her back. Sunday was the first game that they won without her. And let's be real. For all the press that batty Angel Reese chick is getting with her mean girl act, Chicago is not a good women's basketball team. So yeah, the Sparks were missing Jackson, they were missing Cameron Brink, they were missing Derica Hamby, and it was still an easy W to get. Not every team in the WNBA is as lame as Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. But you let me know what you think of the comments thread. Talk to me about how giddy you are over Shohei Ohtani's pitching sesh. And for that matter, yeah, it is a year off with Austin Reaves. But would you give him $30 million? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Quian Corte El Queso production. Take care.